Hello and welcome to Nutrition with Rahel the Amazon. It's 2020. Happy New Year. What are we all doing? We are ready for the decade. We all want to start the decade in the most memorable way. And since it's January, for a lot of people, this month is also known as Veganuary. Now, Veganuary is a movement that's been around for a long time, but it really gained popularity 2 years ago. So 2018 is when the popularity of the campaign grew by 183%. Today, I'm here to give you lots of information on how to best prepare yourself for the vegan diet, whether you only want to follow it for a month or longer. A vegan will not consume an animal's flesh, nor its byproducts. This goes beyond the usual dairy and eggs and also extends to honey, because bees make it. So remember, vegans do not like to exploit animals in any form. What happens when we remove such big food groups, however, is that we also remove important nutrients, vitamins and minerals. The key to being a healthy, confident vegan is to know how to substitute these food groups without becoming deficient in important vitamins. The biggest question isn't where a vegan gets their protein from, but the question should be, what food should a vegan eat together to ensure a full amino acid profile? Now, plant-based proteins are usually lacking in one or more essential amino acids, which is why they should be eaten with complementary proteins to ensure a full amino acid profile. Just because a plant-based food item is high in protein does not actually ensure that you're getting the full profile. So the best example is seitan, which has about 70 grams of protein per 100 grams of product. However, it is lacking in lysine, therefore it should be eaten with a food that is high in lysine, such as beans, to ensure the full amino acid profile. Seitan is pure gluten mixed with water, and that's what gives it the texture of meat. Spirulina and nutritional yeast are also very high in content. So they're both ranging between the 50 to 60 grams of protein per 100 grams range. However, since they're both used in very small quantities, they don't actually count as a significant source of protein. Textured vegetable protein has been made from beans, so it's made from the beans and the oil has been removed. It is a powder, even though the protein content is really high, so we're talking about 43 grams per 100 grams, it is a very highly processed food. Jackfruit, as we know, is widely used in lots of vegan dishes, especially when we're talking about street food, because its texture is very similar to chicken or pork. Actually, barely has any protein in at all, because like the name says, it is a fruit. It only has 0.5 grams of protein per 100 grams. Other sources such as almonds, sunflower seeds, mycoprotein and tofu, plus also baked beans, quinoa and lentils, they all contain protein about 20 grams or less per 100 grams. Contrary to popular belief, plant-based diets are high in iron. The problem is with the absorption of iron. So vegans and vegetarians, although they're consuming quite high amounts of iron, they can still become deficient. Why is that? It is because of polyphenols and tannins that are in our foods that actually inhibit iron absorption. Plant-based non-Hem iron is far harder for our bodies to absorb than animal-based Hem iron. To not jeopardize your iron intake from your foods, try to drink tea and coffee after a couple of hours after your meal instead of with your meal. To improve the iron absorption, try to have some vitamin C with your meals. So we're talking some citrus fruit for breakfast, orange juice with your lunch, or then maybe some red pepper added to your stir fry that you're having in the evening. Deficiency in certain minerals and vitamins, such as B12, can cause severe health problems. So I really encourage you to do your research and read up on the micronutrients. Before you start to supplement your food, you should always consider getting all your important micronutrients from real food. For vegans, the best sources of B12 are soy milk, yeast flakes, fortified cereals, and Marmite. Instead of milk, vegans can drink calcium-fortified soya, oat and nut milks. Dairy-free cheese is also widely available now, however it's not always fortified with calcium, so eating almonds, tofu and kale will help you meet your daily calcium needs. Getting sufficient levels of vitamin D in the winter can be a problem for everybody. However, non-vegans can get their vitamin D from egg yolks, liver, red meat and oily fish. For vegans, my advice is to read the labels to find out which foods have been fortified with vitamin D. The best places to find vitamin D are usually fat spreads and breakfast cereals. Although iodine is found in a lot of plants, there is no way of actually knowing how much iodine is in the food that we're eating. Normally, the list of plants that include iodine would include watercress, doing organic potatoes with skin on, there's courgettes, cranberries, strawberries, and seaweed. Now, anything that comes from the land could have a very variable nutrient content. Certain varieties of seaweed and kelp can actually have a very high iodine content. So, for example, the kombu kelp, which 1 gram of product already contains about 20 times your daily iodine requirements. There is a supplement for vegans that has safe levels of vitamin D, vitamin B12, iodine, and selenium, since getting the adequate intake from foods can be tricky. Usually found in fish and eggs, vegan diets are lacking in DHA and EPA. Now, plant foods that do contain ALA, which is alpha-linoleic acids, can be converted to DHA and EPA. However, that process isn't very efficient. For alpha-linoleic acids, you can eat flax seeds, chia seeds, walnuts, and soy. Algae is the best source of DHA and EPA. It is important to remember that just by going vegan or vegetarian, it doesn't automatically mean that you are eating the healthiest diet. The rise in popularity of Veganuary also saw a rise in vegan cafes and restaurants. Plus, the supermarkets jumped on trend and started providing a lot of ready meals for vegans. The problem with such a wide variety of vegan foods available is that it's seen a rise in the lazy vegan trend. What happens when we consume too much ready-made food from stores and restaurants is that our food intake can be still high in processed food or foods high in fat, salt, and sugar, and actually very low in vegetables. To ensure an optimal macro and micronutrient intake, I encourage you to cook the majority of your meals at home in advance so you never really be caught off guard as in what goes into your food. Now, I know such an influx of information can leave your head spinning, and I definitely don't want anybody to become discouraged. We know veganism is meant to be great for the planet, the environment, the animals, but what about your own health? So what I'm going to do is I want you all to send me 2 days worth of food diary for me to analyze and give you feedback on how optimal is your vegan diet. I want you to send me 1 weekday and 1 weekend day, because usually our food intake depends greatly on whether we're at work or at home and what we're up to. So send me 2 days. I won't be able to analyze more days per person since I expect this to be quite popular. And I will send you feedback in the form of a PDF using my professional nutrition software. You'll see everything color-coded on paper, and you can either see what you need to improve on, or you will probably feel very confident and nice that you're already doing everything that it takes to be a confident and healthy vegan. Share this video with all your vegan friends or anybody considering becoming vegan or anybody wanting to try Veganuary. We know sharing is caring, and there is no such thing as too much information when it comes to looking after our health. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.